Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today, we're going to be talking about my best romance and romantasy books of 2024. So, not all of these came out in 2024. In fact, some of them are even 2025 releases that I read early, but I'm excited to share them. I have slides as always, so we're going to get into it in just a minute. Um, Hope you all are doing well. I hope this provides a bit of a distraction for people who need it today. And let's talk about some great books. I have 25 books to talk about in today's video, and we are counting down from number 25 to number one, which is my best romance of the year. Hi, welcome. So, here we go. Top 25 romance books. Let's get into this. Hello. Hi, Jessica. Hey, Carissa. How's everybody doing today? Hi, hi, hi. Yay. Okay, maybe I should give it a minute while people pop in and then we'll dive in. Yeah, I figured we all could use a distraction today, and so let's talk about something a little bit happier, like some good romance books. And I guess to give you a heads up for things yet to come. So if you haven't seen them yet, I have already posted my overall best of the year with superlatives, my best fantasy books, and my best horror books. So this is romance, and then you will be getting best mystery thrillers, best sci-fi, and then a stats video. So we're doing lots of live streams this month, way more than usual, but I like doing the slides, so it's the easiest way. Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, let's dive into this. Starting at number 25. There were like a lot of romances that I wanted to talk about this year. And this does include adult and YA, all different kinds of romance, including romantasy. Number 25 is the third book in a series that I've really liked, Hathor and the Prince by J.J. McAvoy. If you liked Bridgerton, I think these are a great pick. They're historical romances, but sort of in an alternate world, alternate history that gives me Bridgerton vibes, following a Black noble family and each of the daughters finding love. And this one follows the one of the younger daughters who and it's kind of like a hate to love sort of situation where she like wants nothing to do with this guy, but there's a lot of like banter and they end up falling for each other. And it was great. It was really good. If you haven't tried these, I quite enjoy them. I do recommend. Hi, Jessica. So that's number 25, and they're beautiful. Number 24 was Sex, Lies, and Sensibility by Nikki Payne. I really enjoyed this. I read this for a in-person book club that I go to, and this is a contemporary retelling of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. But it's got a Black heroine and an Indigenous hero. It's very messy and it is very steamy. I liked it. I think there's a lot of little moments in here that are callbacks to the original in a way that is fun, where you can tell that the author knows and loves the original, but it is very much its own thing. And even if you haven't read Jane Austen, you could read this. It's paced more like a contemporary romance than what an Austen novel is. I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot. Hi, Angie. You like this one too? Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was great. She also has Pride and Protest, which was fun as well, which is like a Pride and Prejudice retelling, but this was my favorite of the two. Number 23 is At First Spite by Olivia Dade. This was fun. It's enemies to lovers rom-com. So we have a plus size heroine. Oh man, this is like the setup for this is so great. So she moves into this house because she has nowhere else to go after her fiance left her right before the wedding, and she had poured all of her money into buying this place that is next door to his older brother who always hated her. But then she and the older brother get together. It's great. It's really funny and does a lot to show like caretaking with mental health episodes, which I appreciated. I thought it was done really well. Um, yes, I love the way Olivia Day does plus size representation. She is one of my favorites. And yes, I think she did have a lot of fun with this one. It's kind of hilarious because there's this whole thing where she gets him into reading this monster romance author. It's like lovingly funny about it. I It was great. Yeah, this is a good one. Yes, good mix of serious and fun moments, great depression rep. I agree with all of this. This was a really good one. Number 22 for me was A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I picked this up for a video project that I don't know that I would have anytime soon necessarily, but I had always wanted to try this, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and then I watched the first season of the TV show and also really enjoyed it. I actually think the TV show improves a bit upon the book. But yeah, lots of this, like, dark academia, contemporary fantasy with, like, witches and vampires and forbidden love and, like, not perfect. Some things I was like, "Mm, okay, that could have been done better," but overall, I really enjoyed this. I had a good time. It was fun. Yay. Yeah, I thought this was great. Number 21 is our first YA book. This is Twelfth Night by Alexine Farrell Falmouth, who you might also know as Olivia Blake, author of the Atlas Six. She writes under her actual name for YA. And this is a rom com that is a retelling of the Twelfth Night Shakespeare play, but in high school. And it's great. It's really fun and funny and nerdy. We've got like a enemies in person, who kind of become friends without knowing who the other person is in an online role playing game. And the hero is like this popular guy, and she's super nerdy, and they don't like each other, but then they end up falling for each other, and it's cute. It was really fun. I liked it a lot. Yes, I need to read on in the Deborah Harkness series. I haven't read on yet, but I have book two, so I would like to continue at some point. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, entertaining, cute, nerdy YA romance. Number 20. This is a 2025 release, and I'm a little bummed because it did get pushed back quite a bit. Originally, this was supposed to come out, I think, in like February or March, and I read it when I thought that was when it was coming out. It is now not coming out until October. So I'm sorry you have to wait a long time, but it's really good, and I promise it's going to be worth the wait. This is Illusions of Fire by Nisha Sharma, and it is her first YA romantasy. I loved this. So this I would say is sort of like a more mature Percy Jackson meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but drawing on South Asian mythology and a little sexier. It's great. I think people will love it. I think this could be a huge crowd favorite. It's fun, it's well paced, it's smart, it's just all the things, and it's excellent. But yeah, I am a little bummed it got pushed back, but I would pre-order this one. It's coming out in October, so I think it'll be really good. I don't know. I mean, it can have to do with like production issues. There can be a lot of different reasons. I do know, well, here's one thing is I do know that Nisha Sharma is pregnant. She just announced that. Congrats to her. She's wonderful. And so she's pregnant with her first baby. And I wonder if part of the reason it might have gotten pushed back is so she can go on tour with it, maybe, because she can't really do that right now. I'm not sure if that is the reason, but I wouldn't be shocked if that was part of it. Yeah. Um, yes, there are romance there's a variety of age categories. Like, I would say At First Spite is, somewhat older characters that are, like, in their 40s. It's a mix. I've got some YA, some older stuff. Yeah, really happy for her. It's so great. Yeah, I've read some of her adult romance too. Actually, she has another book on this list that is an adult romance. All right. Number 19 is The Art of Scandal by Regina Black. This was great. If you liked the Scandal TV show, if you like kind of like messy, juicy political stuff, you would probably enjoy this. So this follows a woman who is married to this white politician, who has tried to be perfect, and finds out that he's been cheating on her. And she's just kind of like over it, and she ends up having a relationship with a younger man while there's I mean, they're not divorced, but they're not together, and it's messy, but it's really good. And I feel like it's hard to do that kind of an age gap, but he's old enough. Like, he's in his late 20s, she's in her 40s. She has, like, a child who is almost college age. But yeah, it gives Scandal vibes, but I liked it. I thought it was very good. It's such an impressive debut, and I'm really excited to read more from this author. Yeah, I get this. Yay, yeah, add it to your list. Okay, cool, we have a recommendation. Is she really going out with him? Has a 38-year-old divorced main female character and 30-year-old main male character. Cool. Number 18 is a romantasy, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. While I think this could have been a little shorter than it was, overall, I really liked it. And I think people who enjoy like Sarah J. Maas type writing would probably like this as well. People talk about it in this way that makes it seem like it's super complicated to read, and it's not. Like, the world building is kind of a lot, but the actual writing is pretty accessible. There's a lot of banter in a way that I think people would enjoy, and kind of like forbidden love sort of, and it is rather steamy. It's got interesting plot twists, and I thought this was really good. I liked it a lot. So would recommend checking it out if you like that kind of a thing. I think this feels a little more elevated in terms of the fantasy elements than what like a Sarah J. Maas Akatar situation would be, but the writing while it's more elevated has somewhat similar vibes, and I feel like if you enjoy that, you would probably enjoy this. I love this 2025 resolution to get back to your love of reading. That's Yes, I love this. I support this. This is not YA, this is adult. Definitely adult. Yeah, I enjoyed this too. Hello. Yeah, it is adult and it is steamy as you get further into it. So yeah, really good. And it ends in a place where I'm like, oh my god, it's got like this wild ending in the last couple chapters where I'm like, book two. I want to reread this one before picking up book two because there's lots of little details and like Easter eggs, I think. So I want to pick up more of it. Number 17 is I'll Have What He's Having by Adib Khurram. This is great. It is a contemporary gay romance. These characters are a little bit older as well, actually. They're like 40-ish or approaching. I think one of them is 40. So they're a little bit more established. So we have a one night stand that turns into a lot more than they bargained on. And I love the development of this relationship because they're also friends. Like, they have this great friendship relationship, but then also it's quite sexy. And I just thought it was really good. And they're dealing with different family dynamics. One of the characters is black, and the other main character is, I think, Persian, Iranian, if I'm not mistaken, and has some things with his family dynamics that he's working through. So I just love this. I thought it was a really well-rounded romance. Excellent. Do you recommend? Do I keep a reading journal? I keep an extensive reading spreadsheet. Um, I keep a reading spreadsheet and I write reviews for everything I read on Goodreads. So I feel like that is sort of my version of a reading journal. Yay, I hope you enjoy it. I thought this was really good. Number 16. This was so fun. If you like reality dating shows, I highly recommend Here for the Wrong Reasons by Annabelle Paulson and Lydia Wang. This is a sapphic romance about two women on a reality dating show who fall for each other. As somebody who enjoys a good reality dating show, it's really fun. This is very bachelor coded. Um, What's interesting about this is that one of the women is a closeted lesbian who actually did go on the show in order to like grow her social media following and doesn't expect to fall for anyone. And the other girl was raised like middle America, small town, kind of religious, has never had a serious relationship and doesn't realize that it's because she's queer. And so it's like her queer awakening as well. This was a lot of fun. It's messy. It's very messy. Um, but I loved it. I thought it was great. So if you like that kind of thing, it's fun. Uh, yeah. I don't really watch The Bachelor anymore, but I have um I really like Love is Blind on Netflix. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I thought this was good. Number 15 is Unholy Terrors by Lyndall Clipstone. This is a YA darker romantasy that has like bone and blood magic and sort of vampire adjacent things and a forbidden enemies to lovers situation and a bisexual character, I want to say. I really liked this. It is very melodramatic and over the top, which may not appeal to everyone, but I thought it was really fun. So if you like that kind of dark, melodramatic, romantasy type thing, I would recommend this. I had a blast with it. I thought it was really fun. Um, Spreadsheets. Yes. So if you're looking, so I will tell you what I've been using, and I know this is not specifically what we're here for, but if you also are a spreadsheet fan, I use one from, oh God, tell me uh Allie, what is her, why can't I think of her name? Somebody tell me in the comments. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Um Allie, who was a booktuber, makes these amazing spreadsheets with Allie. Thank you. With Allie, makes these amazing spreadsheets, and you can download the templates, purchase them on Allie hardback order. Okay, previously hardback order, now with Allie. Thank you, everybody. I knew y'all would get me. Um, so she makes these amazing spreadsheet templates that are very involved, and you can purchase them on her Etsy shop. They're pretty reasonable. I last year bought a 5-year spreadsheet from her, and I want to say it was like $15 or $20, something like that. So that's what I use, and then I just modify it to fit what I want. But I start with that as a template, and it's great. So that is my recommendation. Okay, if people are interested after we get through this, if you want to see my spreadsheet, I will show you. It's kind of fun. I love these. Number 14 is On the Way to the Wedding by Julia Quinn. This is the final book in the Bridgerton series, which I finished last year. I read several of them, and this was among my favorites. Bridgerton for me is got real high highs and real low lows. Like I hate some of the books in this series, and I really love others, and this one was a hit for me. This is Gregory's story, and what I think is interesting about it, and maybe like part of it I found related, is that he, because of all the people around him, is convinced that he will like have love at first sight, and thinks he's in love with this girl who is like very kind of shallow, and the actual love interest is her best friend, who nobody notices usually because she's not as like conventionally beautiful as her friend. And they become friends because he's trying to get in with her friend, and then ends up realizing like, oh wait, actually maybe this is the wrong girl. I liked it, and I think as somebody who has been in the situation of being the like less desired of a friend group where somebody is like trying to befriend you to get close to the hot friend you have, it's a weird situation. So I was like, this happens. But I thought it was really good. I liked the romance a lot. Okay, I love that everybody is excited about the spreadsheets. Yes. Okay, we will do that after we get through the books. If you want to stay, I'll show you my spreadsheet. Yeah. Yeah, there are a few in the series that are kind of garbage. I agree. All right. Number 13 is a graphic novel, an adult graphic novel. This is Ruined by Sarah Vaughan, Sarah Winifred Searle, and Nikki Smith. This is fantastic. It is a historical romance with a marriage of convenience where they slowly fall in love with each other, and it's so good. And I had never read something like this in graphic novel format before, but I thought this was really well executed. The artwork is gorgeous. The storytelling was really good. Would recommend this one if that sounds up your alley. It was really fun. I love the excitement about about the spreadsheets. That's great. Number 12, I debated whether to put this in horror or romance because it's both, but we're putting it here. This is something that is not going to be this is not going to be for everyone, but some of y'all are going to love it. If you are monster romance fans, check it out. So this is a novella. It's coming out in February, but Not Too Bold by Ache Pueo. It is a gothic horror novel meets erotic sapphic romance. And it's got like an ancient estate, and the mistress of the house is part woman, part spider, and it's excellent. So if that sounds up your alley, I do recommend it. I know this is not going to be up everybody's alley, but yeah, sapphic gothic horror meets erotic romance. It was really good. It is it's a genre blend, but yes, it is a romance. So, um, yeah, I love this. I mean, I think being in community can be great with this kind of thing, having somewhere to talk about books. Number 11 is my other Nisha Sharma, Tastes Like Shocker. This is okay, so this is a contemporary retelling. This is part of her If Shakespeare Was an Auntie series where she retells Shakespearean comedies with contemporary South Asian characters. And I think this is my favorite of them, but it's also retelling one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, which is Much Ado About Nothing. Um, I thought this was excellent. Like, this is the way to do sort of like dislike to romance with all of the banter. Um, and this one also has some interesting twists and turns because they're sort of in forced proximity because they're they're involved in a wedding party. And somebody is trying to sabotage the wedding. So there's also this mystery element to it. I loved this. Highly recommend. So, yeah. Yes, it's so good. Um, Historical or paranormal? I don't know. It depends on my mood. I like both. I don't know. Yeah, if you like Much Ado, I would pick this up. I think it's really fun. The whole series is good, but this is my favorite, and I finally read it. Well, I haven't read Dating Dr. Dill yet. I still need to read that one actually. So maybe we'll get there. Okay. Number 10, Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. Y'all, this was good. This is a contemporary romance that came out from Bramble, and it has excellent plus size representation, I think. And it's it's interesting. One thing I will say about it, like I had one criticism, like this was one where I was like, okay, if one thing was slightly different about it, this would have been on my like favorites of the year list, but the rest of it was still so good that it's on this list, and I want to read more from this author. So this follows a plus size woman who is having a hard time with dating, and she is trying out apps and going on all these dates and picks a bar that she likes to always have these first dates on. And the first dates are terrible. But in the meantime, she befriends the bartender, right? And they become friends. And he's attractive, but she thinks he's married. Um, which obviously, like, as the reader, you kind of know he's not, but, like, my main issue was I feel like the letting her think he was married went too far. That was the only thing that kinda detracted from it for me, but this was so good, and it does deal with with external fat phobia coming from, like, family members and stuff, so she deals with some of that, but I loved the way this was handled, the romance. It was, like, very steamy. I will say it starts off with, like, a pretty intense steamy scene. of her with somebody else who's more of like kind of a hookup situation. So I was like, oh wow, okay, throwing us in the deep end. But then you have this like very slow burn romance. So it's very good. I recommend it. Um, yes, it's great. I thought this was so good. Okay, number 9 is another YA. This is Bond Me for Two by Trinity Nguyen. It is a contemporary sapphic YA romance following a Vietnamese American girl who is studying abroad in Vietnam. She's there for the first time, and has lied to her parents about where she's studying, which is kind of wild. Her parents think she's in Singapore because her parents don't want to talk about Vietnam and don't want her going there, but she wants to learn more about her culture and stuff. And this girl who is the person behind a street food blog, she blogs about Vietnamese street food. And the one girl loves the blog, and they meet by happenstance and then find out it's her, and they have this kind of friendship turned romance that's really sweet. And the Vietnamese girl is dealing with feeling really responsible for taking care of her family and not prioritizing her own wants and needs. It's so good. And it's very short. It is a very quick read. It's beautiful. It's very, very sweet. Definitely recommend. Um, yes. It's really good. I recommend it. I liked it a lot. It was very cute. Number 8, this was so fun. The Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Rosh. This is a gay contemporary fantasy romance or like romantasy with a forbidden love between the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween. And it was a blast. I absolutely love it. The Prince of Christmas is trying to get forced into a political marriage of convenience with a friend. And, he's not supposed certainly not supposed to be into the Prince of Halloween. This is also the start of a whole series, and I cannot wait to read more in it because this was delightful. Really good. Okay. Number 7 was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I think this was really good. Abby Jimenez writes really great books that I think are more accessible for people who are not as big romance readers. So if you're like an entry point, I feel like I think that's kind of true of Emily Henry as well. They've got a lot more sort of plot. This one is a super slow burn summer romance. And I thought it handled some really sensitive issues really well. Things like childhood trauma and abuse, PTSD, mental health issues. So it's like a rom com, but it's also more serious. So like you laugh, you'll cry. Okay. I'm like reminding myself of like looking at my review of like what exactly happened. So okay, so here's the setup for this book. It was really fun. So the couple meets through an Am I the Asshole Reddit thread, where it turns out that they're both cursed to have anyone that they date meet their soulmate right after their relationship ends. And so they think, well, maybe we can break the curse on both of us by dating each other. But then of course they fall for each other, and it's really fun. I liked it a lot. Yes, this one is so good. Yeah, I this one is one of my favorites. I thought this was so great. Okay. Number 6 is another sapphic romance. I know the cover is giving YA, but it's not YA, it is adult. I promise you. Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. This is a excellent, like, low stakes, um, contemporary sapphic romance with neurodivergent main characters. So we have a character who wins the lottery, and because she's very impulsive and doesn't always think things through, decides to buy a flower farm off of Facebook Marketplace, only to discover when she arrives that the woman who sold it to her probably didn't actually have the rights to sell it to her. And the granddaughter of a woman who just died, who had owned the farm previously, is still living there. And so they make an agreement that for a year they will live there together and kind of try to figure out a solution, but they fall in love along the way. Um, this one I really like. It's very low angst and um I don't know, like, I think some people didn't like it because it's so low angst because they don't have major conflict, like, they just it's like a really sweet romance, but if you're looking for that, I do recommend it. I thought it was delightful, and, you've got, like, autism and ADHD representation in here. Number 5 is another YA one, and this is Just Another Epic Love Poem by Parisa Akbari. This is I would say it's romantic, contemporary romantic, but it has a literary quality to the writing, like, it's like lit fic meets sort of YA romance. It is also sapphic. There's 2 best friends in high school who secretly are crushing on each other and then finally reveal it and fall in love, but then are dealing with a lot of different issues with their family, with trying to figure out what they want in life after high school, what college is going to look like. This was gorgeous. It made me cry. It was beautiful. And one thing about it is that there's poetry mixed in because for years, even as like friends, they've been passing back and forth these notebooks where they write poems back and forth to each other about things, and it's lovely. This was excellent. Beautiful writing. Um, yes. Yeah, the cover is really great. Number 4 was my biggest surprise of the year because I read this for, an in-person book club I go to and didn't have high expectations, but Paradise by Judith McNaught, I loved this. I had so much fun reading it. It's like 700 pages long, and it came out in, like, I late '80s, early '90s, I wanna say. It is like a soap opera, right? So if you like juicy drama of like a soap opera, but you want it in book form, I feel like that is this book. It was just riveting to me. I flew through it, even though it's so long. I was like, there's no audiobook. How am I going to do this? And I just didn't want to put it down. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So even the first, like, just like in the first 100 pages, the number of things that happen. So here's the setup, right? And this is just like the first part of the book, y'all. Um, we start with this girl who's like 12 years old. And her dad owns this successful like department store business, so she's kind of the heiress to it, but he is really hard on her because her mom cheated on him and left, and so he wants her to be perfect. So she kind of like falls in line for a long time until finally she's 18 and she's kind of over her dad trying to control her behavior, and so she decides to rebel by having a one night stand with this guy who works in steel mills and is absolutely not the person um, that her dad would want her with. So they have a one night stand, and of course, she gets pregnant. Well, this is like the first several chapters of the book. She gets pregnant because, of course, she does. And so she decides to go track this guy down, and they get married, and her dad is pissed and trying to separate them, but also he's about to go off to this job in South America for several months, and while he's gone, she has a miscarriage, but she thinks he's left her and he thinks she had an abortion, and they hate each other. And then we jump to like 10 years in the future where he's now built this successful business empire. uh that's like the first like 100 pages. It is the wildest thing, and it just stays like that. It's like the most dramatic thing ever. It was really fun. Yes, 700-page soap opera. That is, yeah. Yeah, well, it's not so much that it's her fault, it's that he's worried she's gonna be like her mom. Her dad is a piece of work. Yes, yeah. Soap opera level drama, whiplash, romance ensues. It's a blast if you like that kind of thing. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, so didn't expect to love this as much as I did, but it was great. I have heard her other books are often more problematic, so I don't know that I would read much more from her, but this one was really good. Number 3 is coming out in February. This I love so much, and this we're now getting into my top 3. All I gave 6 stars to, which means they were in my overall favorites of the year, because they were just They were like so good. So The Spirit Collection of Thorne Hall by J. Ann Thomas. If you love like Jane Eyre, um, you want like a really angsty, slow burn romance with ghosts and a haunted estate and longing and external forces keeping people apart, this book is for you. It's so good. It's contemporary, but it feels older because of the setup. So it follows this woman who is the heir to this haunted estate that has all of these ghosts living in it, and she can't leave. Like, she has to stay there, and she has to dress in these old clothes that have been there for like 100 years, and they can't have modern technology. So like it reads like it's Victorian sort of, except that it's modern day, and so she has friends who have like cell phones and modern technology and whatever, and she has an abusive dad and has been in this situation where she's never wanted anything for herself and is not very happy until one day she meets the son of a contractor who's fixing something in the house, who is an adult and is visiting his dad and has his own successful business, and there is immediate chemistry between the two of them, and for the first time she wants something for herself, but there are many things keeping them apart. Like, he is wonderful. There are no issues between the two of them, but there are external forces keeping them apart, and it is super slow burn, super angsty. So good. And the ending is so satisfying. Like, I loved this. Cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. Yes, I hope people pick it up. I need to get myself a finished copy when it comes out. Yes. The ghosts are some are worse than others, but they are can be very dangerous. Yep. It is, but in the best way. It gives me Jane Eyre vibes, kind of. Yay. Okay. Number 2 is also coming out in February. This is A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke by Adriana Herrera. Man, this was so good. This is the energy I need in 2025, y'all. I love this whole series. This is I don't know if this is my favorite. I mean, I don't know. They're all really good, honestly. She wrote a series of historical romances set in the Belle Epic era in France, following Afro-Caribbean heroines who travel to France for the World Exposition in the late 1800s. And then each of them find love. One of them is a lesbian, so the second book follows her. This one follows our Spitfire female doctor who is running underground women's clinics and offering like illegal abortions in late 1800s Paris, and isn't great at taking care of herself and kind of works herself to the bone. And this black duke who matches her energy and will kind of force her to slow down and try to like take care of her even when she doesn't want to be taken care of. It's so good. Like, very sexy, but so good. And just politically the energy I want to see this year. So highly recommend this one. It was amazing. Really good. Yes. Great, great romance. Lastly, my number 1 romance for 2024. I love this. I picked this up because of Ashley at Bookish Realm, actually, or now Realm of Kidlit and Comics. Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop, which now has a new cover. I have it in this cover when it was indie published, but it got picked up, which I mean, I don't know if I can take credit for it, but I did talk to like 4 editors that I met or people in editorial staff being like, "Hey, like someone needs to pick this book up for publishing." I like because it's so good, and someone did. So I'm happy about that. This is another really great romance if you like external conflict. This is something I know about myself is I often prefer romances where the relationship between the couple is really strong. They don't have issues, but it's everything around them that is causing problems for them. And that is this. This is another juicy drama one. The heroine and the hero are part of a bridal party at a destination wedding for her sister marrying her ex. So, I mean, clearly that is not great. So that's super stressful. It's really messy. But she and this groomsman make a deal that they will have a no strings attached fling while they're there for the week, and he just like treats her like a queen and takes care of her and falls hard and fast for her. It's so good, like very sexy, very romantic, so good. Definitely my favorite romance that I read last year. It was amazing. Yay! I hope you enjoy it. It's really good. Yep. Yeah, I love that people love this. It is very, very messy drama. Messy drama, but not between the love interest and the main character. That's what I like about it, is like they're good. It's everyone else that's like messy drama. So, yeah, very fun. That is it. Those are my top 25 romances and romanticities that I read this year. Hopefully this was fun. So for those of you who are interested in staying, I will show you my reading spreadsheet. Let me like get that together. But otherwise, thank you for joining me. I hope you'll go pick some of these up. They're all linked down below if you want to find them. I think there's a lot of really, really good books and hopefully a little something for everyone. Meanwhile, let me pull my spreadsheet up here and I will show you all how this works. Okay. So here is my reading spreadsheet. Again, this is by With Allie. So you can get this. This is her 5-year edition. It has a bunch of tabs down at the beginning. I scrolled back up to, this is the start of 2024. So this is the stuff that I track. So we've got title, author, status, whether I finished it, day started, date finished, pages read, month read. Some of this I add in. So I take what she gave me and then I add in additional things that I find useful. The year that I read it, whether it was mid-month, this I added in because I do mid-month wrap-ups. So this helps me keep track of that. If it was a reread, is the author new to me? Was it for review? What was the rating? What was the main genre? And so you can like change what you have, but these are the different genres that I put on mine. The intended audience. So I've got adult, new adult. I don't really use new adult to be honest, but YA, middle grade, and children's. The format, the source material, where I acquired it, if it's part of a series, the country of origin of the author. So this is like where they were born. I love this. I'm so glad. Yay. Yes, it's a great spreadsheet, honestly, highly recommend. The release date of the book, so when it came out, the type of publication, so is it traditional, is it self-published, is it small press, who is the publisher, what is the imprint, was it translated from another language, and if so, which language, the author's gender, whether they're Black, Indigenous, or person of color, whether they're part of the LGBT community openly, are they neurodivergent, are they disabled, are they trans? What is their race or ethnicity? Is there significant religious representation? And then it tracks for me how many days did it take me to read. So that's the stuff that I track on this main spreadsheet. What I love about it is that if I go to this monthly stats, oh no, that's not what I want. I want monthly side by side. I use this a lot. So I'm going to show you 2024. What's great about this is I can look at it and I can see, okay, how many books did I read? How many of them were diverse reads? Like, 'cause I'm aiming for like 50%. And then like how many pages did I read? The average rating doesn't work for me, so I just ignore that, but it shows quite a bit of stuff. And so I like being able to look through like, okay, how many books am I reading in various years? And then you can sort by year. So that's 2024. I'm now on 2025. So this is where we're at right now. So that's how I use that. I have a sheet for DNFs where I put like things that I publicly review and DNF, and I include, was it for review? Where was it from? How much did I read? What was my reason? Often it's because I'm bored. I have my ARC tracker. So this is where I track like, okay, what are the books I have for review? What's the book? When is it coming out, right? Like what month? The author, where I got it, the year I received it, and the month I received it, whether it was something I requested, the genre, the format, the release date, and then the status. So did I read it? Did I DNF it? Like what happened with that? So I can like keep track of all of those, which is really useful. So we're like down here where I'm like reading different stuff. Um, and then I have like my transactions sheet. So I keep track of books that I purchase or am sent or whatever, and whether I've read them or not in different months. I don't always keep track of the audiobooks because like sometimes that's a pain. But yeah, I would say those are some of the main things. I do also, I'm not as up to date with it, but I also have a series tracker where I'll track like series that I've finished or I'm caught up with or in progress with. And there's a ton of information. Oh, and then there's the goals sheet. So you can see like, okay, here are like the books for my reading challenge, and then I can also see at a glance sort of like how many books did I read each month during the year. So yeah, that is my reading spreadsheet, and I love it. It's a lot of information. I just kind of do it naturally. So like every time I finish a book, I review it on Goodreads, I log it in my reading spreadsheet, and I have lots of data to pull from, and it's great. So I highly recommend it. You can kind of adjust it to what you want. Oh, the one other thing I will show you actually, because this might be for some of you a little interesting. So you can update your selections. So if you go to the selections tab, you can update like what you're putting in. So like for my ratings, I add a 6-star because that's part of my rating scale. And then like you can update your like genres and whatever. The big thing that I have done, because I do this, is I track all the imprints of the books that I read. And so every time there's a new one, I have to update my list. So I'm going to show you. Do you see where this says publisher? So these are all the publishers and imprints. I don't know how many I have. It's like well over 100 on the list. I'm going to keep going. So it's really, and it gets longer every year. Okay, yeah. So I have like 158 imprints and publishers that I can track in here, and I can just add to that, and then they're in the drop down menu. It is a lot of imprints, but it's fun. And then I can update like my acquired. So, I add stuff to this: conventions, events, PR companies, like places I might get books that weren't originally on it. Yeah, I love it, honestly. Like, it's a very cool spreadsheet. I am a fan. I think she did an incredible job. It was definitely worth the like 20 bucks that I paid for it, and then I can update to make it work for me. And yeah, yes. Thanks. I'm glad you guys like it. It's so fun. Me and my like nerdy yeah, you know what? That's like a good question. Can I drop a link? Let me see if I can find it. Mm, oh, jeez. I gotta like sign it. Why is it doing this? Okay, this is annoying. Sorry. Etsy is being difficult. Okay. Uh, yeah. So does anybody, I guess let me know if you have any questions about any of this, and I'm happy to answer it, but I am trying to find, see if I can find the link. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, so she has, so I'll send you a link to her shop. Because she has updated ones, like she updates them every year, but because I bought like a 5-year tracker, I'm not buying a new one. But yeah, here. Okay, so there is the link in the chat if you want it, and I will add it to the description of the video for people watching this later. So yeah, she clearly like does a ton of work on these, which is amazing. Okay. Can you add years if you want more than 5? Um, if you're really good with spreadsheets, maybe. Like, I don't think I am as good with them as she is, so I feel like that would be kind of hard. So I'll just buy new. Like I have older ones, but yeah. Um, so I update it when like the main thing I'm updating regularly is my books read spreadsheet, and I update it when I read a book. So if I finish a book, I it's just like part of what I'm used to doing now is like at the same time as I'm writing my review on Goodreads, I am also entering all of the information into the spreadsheet for the book that I finished. As far as like acquiring books, I'll do those in groups. Like if I have like a stack of books that have come in, I'll update that spreadsheet periodically. But that's kind of on an ad hoc basis. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. The thing I like about it is like you can kind of change it to meet your needs a little bit. Yeah, it is kind of cool to have it all in one place. Yeah, I think it's great. Just finished. Yeah. Yeah, so like there are books like I can show you. Hold on. I basically like I cuz I update the spreadsheet at the same time that I write the reviews. So right now, let me show you this. Okay, so like right now, I have finished reading this book. I finished it yesterday. I have not reviewed it yet, which I will probably do today. So when I go review it on Goodreads, I will fill in all of that information. And then I'm about to finish this book. So I'll, again, when I go review it, I'll fill in all the information. Love that for this year she did the book bracket and shelves that have the picture of the book. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I had that on the one I got from her, the pre like before I got the 5-year one, like 2 years ago, which was cool. But yeah, it's just a lot. I think it's a lot to do when you have like a whole 5-year tracker. But I am kind of excited to have it all in all the data in one place for 5 years. That should be cool. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, but I love it. I love all my fun data. And then I use this to get all of my my stuff for my stats for, um all my end of year stuff. So, yeah. One other thing, I guess maybe you probably could look this up, but in case people cuz I get questions sometimes about like how I make like my charts and stuff. It's not that hard in Google Sheets. So let me show you. Um, because I need to do I still have to like make all of my charts for my end of year stats video. But I'll just show you on this. Hold on. They are very satisfying. Okay, so I'll just show you on this. So this is stuff from the first half of January, right? These are the books that I read, and I have this little like stats tab where I just put in like copy and paste so I can pull stats from this. So if I want to make a chart, let's say I'm like, okay, let's look at the genres I read. I'm going to select, this is basic, like kind of basic, but if you don't know, like I'm going to select the column and then I'll go to insert chart and take a screenshot. Ta-da! Like, and you can change it. Like, you can use, like change the type of chart over here and customize it or whatever. But it's pretty simple. And so this is how I do all of my charts for my stats, because I get questions sometimes about like, how do you do that? It's pretty easy. Um, yeah, so there you go. In case you were wondering, that is how to make a chart of a column of data for a Google Sheets spreadsheet. Yeah. It's pretty simple once you kind of know how to do it. So, all right. Well, thanks for hanging out, y'all, and being nerdy with me. Charts are your nemesis. I love them. I need to go make a whole bunch of them and make slides for next week's stats video, but that'll be fun to look at what happened for 2024. Yeah, so I think I will end it there. Thanks again, and I hope you all have a good day. And hopefully, this was like a nice little distraction from other stuff. I love this. Came for the romance, stayed for the stats. Listen, amazing. Bookkeeping of red book. Oh goodness, maybe I'll think about it. It's easier to do, I think, as a spreadsheet, but like an actual video on how I do it. Maybe I'll give it some thought. I'll give it some thought. All right. Take care, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye.